So Vegeta finally reaches Super Saiyan. He's looking down at Cell and about to destroy him. And Cell's like, no, wait, I want to absorb the androids. I want to just absorb them. I'll become stronger. You'll be able to prove that you're even better than before. So Vegeta looks at him and says, you know what? We'll let him cook. Famous last words. Listen here, the downside of being a meme lord is every time you have one of these cringe meme formats that show up, you know, the whole let 'em cook craze. Unfortunately, I had no choice but to make this video. I felt like it was my calling all over again. If you hate that I'm like this, take it up with God. It's literally how I was created. If you love that I'm like this and you want to see 50 anime characters with Riz next, definitely subscribe. All right, honest to God though, no promises on that one. I love the let him cook phrase. It's like the let him do his thing, and then more often than not, it just blows up in everyone's face. It actually makes for some of the most entertaining anime scenes of all time. And finally, I have an outlet to talk about them. So here we go. I have compiled 10 of the greatest. I say of the greatest because I have like another 10 in the back burner because if this video gets 10,000 likes, I'm gonna do another one. But for now, I don't want to waste your time with an intro. Who let these anime menaces in the kitchen? Who dared let them cook? See, I felt like taking cook very literally for the first entry, all right? I'm talking Roy Mustang from Fundamental Alchemist Brotherhood. All right, so he's up against Lust. Lust lures him into this epic trap, stabs him through the abdomen, stabs his friend through the spine, and he's like, now I will let you bleed out and die while you watch your friend die. Yes, Lust was an absolute menace. It was totally evil of her, and it was cruel, okay? Very cruel and unusual torture. The dude was bleeding out. There was nothing he can do. She destroyed his transmutation circles on his glove, so he can't even make flames at this point. He's just a useless, dying sack of flesh on the floor, bleeding out, can't even move, and honestly, not really a threat to her. So screw it, she could just leave him like that because she's a vindictive biatch. No harm, no foul. But what she didn't know is that while she was going to continue this fight, terrorize Alphonse, threaten Riza Hawkeye, say, oh, Hawkeye, soon you're going to meet your former lover, your former captain, your colonel is met his demise, and now you will too. And she's like, oh my God, the colonel, and she's like on her knees, she's freaking out, oh my God. Just for the sake of taunting them, she made a terrible error, a horrible and severe lapse in judgment, the likes of which even Logan Paul has never made. That's right, she let the flame alchemist cook. While she left him on the ground, dying out, this man, not only did he freaking sear his wound close with flame powers, he carved a new transmutation circle into the back of his hand, using the lighter of his man that was dying in front of him. He freaking seared his wound closed. That's a level of badassery that no one could have expected, but unfortunately, she did not realize that humanity is a passionate bunch, and she let a human cook for the last time. This man walks in immense pain, the massive burned wound on his abdomen from where he seared a puncture hole through his guts. Literally, it went in one end and out the other end. He seared that whole crap shut. The man's bleeding internally. He walks in with the lighter, his hand dripping blood, and he says, oh, were you threatening my lieutenant? Well, you shouldn't have let me cook. And he proceeds to roast her to oblivion. And I don't mean like the epic rap battles roast her. I don't mean the I am Adolf Hitler. No, bro. I mean roasted her. So what's so crazy is until this point in the story, we think that these homunculi are just immortal creatures. And he is unleashing hellfire upon her. Blast after blast after blast, dishing out more damage than her immortal core can even stand. And eventually he overpowers her and crisps her. She's trying to stab through his face with their long fingernail thingo. Ain't gonna do nothing against the master chef. Call him Ratatouille. The way he dished out her final supper. Ultimate last desserts for letting him cook. He turns her into a pile of crisp. My man blasted the immortality out of her. And it only made him stronger, the fact that she was threatening his lieutenant. You don't stand between a man and his boner. You can quote me on that. Next, chef. 10,000 likes, I'm gonna do another one of these. God damn, this is so much fun. Please leave a like. Kiritsugu Emiya from Fate Zero. So as we know, the Holy Grail Awards in the Fate franchise is you got 7 masters in some given generation. They each summon a servant, which is some epic hero from history or something. They're on a team, and you're on 7-way tag team battle royale to the death. It's like Fortnite, except everything better than Fortnite. I'm still holding my breath for Fate Stay Night Remake 27 when, you know, Shiro summons Mr. Beast as his legendary servant, and Gilgamesh teams up with Rick Sanchez to, you know, completely take out Tomato Town. It's gonna be wild, I'm telling you. Anyway, unlike all the Fate Stay Night iterations, Fate Zero is actually written for adults. Oh, Fate fans going mad in the comments. Damn, worth it. Anyway, Shiro Emiya's dad, Kiritsugu Emiya, is an absolute badass. This is a man with a mission. He wants to solve all the problems in the world. He wants to end wars. Anyway, I don't want to get into this whole philosophical thing, but he is a utilitarianistic bastard. He will do or kill whoever he needs to make his utopic reality a reality everyone could enjoy. Now, if Batman was an anime character and had less morals than he does, he'd be Kiritsugu Emiya. I love how you look at every single character in this show and how they fight, okay? You got freaking El Malloy Archibald and his magic slime monster that he's attacking people with. You got freaking Kirei with his million knives and his epic reflexes and hand-to-hand combat powers. You got Tokiomi, this guy's shooting fireballs. Bro, every single character has like these cool epic battles that they could have. Now, Kiritsugu is not like that. No. He is a dude with a sniper rifle half a city away waiting for his moment to just doink and pick someone off in the most annoying way possible. Now, for the sake of this video, Kiritsugu gets his servant Saber, who's this incredibly honorable warrior, to fight against Lancer, another incredible honorable warrior. And they're in this epic battle, where Lancer already lost one of his spears, so to even the match and make it a truly glorious rematch and fateful encounter between the two of them, Saber isn't using one of her hands because that hand of hers was wounded by Lancer in the past, and it's only healed because Lancer broke his own spear so that she can use something else to save someone else, blah, blah, blah. They're both honorable warriors and fighters. They're having this epic duel, and of course, this is the hope of Lord El Malloy Archibald for survival. His servant Lancer will succeed in this battle against Saber. He must. Everything is on the line. Except it's not. They made one fateful error. They let these servants fight. They let these servants have their epic battle, their glorious battle, the one chance that El Malloy has for survival. But he did not account for one thing. By playing by the books, by playing honorably, by fighting with glory, he allowed Kiritsugu Emiya to cook. While this battle is going down, Kiritsugu tracks down El Malloy Archibald himself, the opposing master. He walks up to him, and he makes him sign some sort of epic Gias contract, which cannot be broken, that he will spare his life. He will not kill El Malloy Archibald on the condition that all the guy needs to do is use his command seal to command his servant Lancer to commit suicide. Literally the least honorable death in an epic battle ever. Like, please. But the dude's like, all right, well, I mean, I don't want to die, and this dude's promising he's not going to kill me on this contract thing, so we're all good here. All right, well, sorry, Lancer, I command you to suicide. Lancer kills himself. Saber wins the fight. Saber's mortified because she wanted, like, this epic, glorious battle. And then, right after that all happens, and Lancer is dead, Kiritsugu's side piece, Maya, some other assassin that was just on his side the whole time, pop. Headshot, just clicks on his head with the mouse, just booting that player right out of the lobby. Kiritsugu promised he wouldn't kill El Malloy. He didn't promise someone else that he hires to kill El Malloy wouldn't kill El Malloy. Bro, this was a crushing and utter defeat. Not only did he not even really put his servant at risk, all he needed her to do was hold Lancer off to let him cook, and he did cook. He stir-fried El Malloy Archibald like there's no tomorrow. My God, I'm telling you, he's anime Batman, except he's even less moral. It's crazy. All the prep time memes that apply to Batman, it's like, oh yeah, Batman, he could beat Goku if he had prep time. Bro, that's literally Kiritsugu. Next chef. Vegeta versus Cell is still one of the most frustrating anime moments of all time for a lot of people. Look, Vegeta's my favorite character in Dragon Ball. I love the guy. But still, the fact that he had such an ego that he's going up against Cell and he's trying to flex so hard. And Cell's just like, oh, listen up, Vegeta. I will just simply nom on these androids so I can become even stronger. And then when I do that, you can prove how strong you really are, because then when you beat me at my strongest, you'll be like, whoa, dude. That dude not only beat me at this level, but also beat me at an even stronger level. He's so cool. Yeah. Come on, Vegeta. Do it, Vegeta. And Vegeta simply made the biggest error of his life. And he was like, you know what? That does sound like a big flex. I'm just gonna let Cell cook. And he did, and this goddamn chef whipped up a pastry the likes of which Vegeta was not ready for. He should not have let him in the kitchen. Vegeta got his ass booted by freaking perfect Cell. Cell absorbed the androids. He became so powerful. He annihilated Vegeta so easily. Like, this was the first example of my mind of like, oh yeah, you should not have let him cook. Cause dude, Vegeta, you're not Eisen, okay? You're not allowed to plan out someone else's life just to make yourself look cooler, okay? Dude, Vegisen. Oh my god, that sounds so wrong. Oh lord. You know, I'm gonna do another one. I'm just gonna combine that with this one because I feel like next chef is just kind of on the same wavelength of stupidity, and it's Vegisen, okay? The way Eisen said to Ichigo, I prepared your entire life. I put your parents together. I took your father's penis and inserted it inside your mother's vagina with my own 2 hands to create the ultimate super baby with all the possible abilities that could ever be conceived. You are the perfect specimen, the ultimate life form. I have put every opponent in front of you your entire life so that you could face them, so you could grow stronger, so that you could be the ultimate way for me to show off my power. And then Ichigo beats his booty. He annihilates this poor man. Eisen is the biggest transgressor in history of letting Ichigo cook. The entirety of the series. Every time Ichigo got into a fight, every time Ichigo got stronger, those 300 episodes until Ichigo actually goes up to fight against Eisen was all time that Eisen was letting Ichigo cook. It's like his eye was on him the entire time too. It's like, Lord Eisen, do you think it's wise to keep Ichigo in the kitchen for longer? And Eisen says, well, in order to be the perfect being, I have to let this man cook to his heart's content. But Eisen, he's putting MSG and all that unnatural garbage into whatever he's cooking. He's gonna come out some sort of monster. Bro, I do not care. Let the man cook. I will defeat him at his absolute peak. I will make him feel like the idiot sandwich at the end of this. As the years go by, as the meat is slow cooking in the oven, the time comes where Ichigo takes out the meat, slaps his meat on the table, and says, look how goddamn big my meat is. All right, this metaphor changed entirely, but you get my point. It's like, you know how they say in Bleach that the person's Zanpakuto is the size, the manifestation of the size of their spiritual pressure? That's all a lie. That's all censored for the kiddies. It's actual a metaphor for the size of their meat and how much they let their meat cook. Ichigo out here with a big ass sword, well, he was given way too much time in the kitchen. Bro, not only was he let cook for this entire time, Eisen hand-picked the ingredients Ichigo would use in the kitchen. And it's not like he just put it all in an Amazon cart. No. This man went to every goddamn rural jungle on the planet to hand-pick the ultimate and perfect ingredients for Ichigo to cook with. And then Ichigo does said cooking and obliterates this man. After 300 episodes in the kitchen, Ichigo walks up to Eisen and is like, all right, dude, this was a lot of cooking that I've just been doing. Someone needs to call an ambulance, but not for me. Next chef! In Attack on Titan, there is a man known as a demon. A man so feared, that he could turn the entire war on its head. And you're probably thinking I'm gonna talk about Captain Levi. And I was, but then I realized there's someone else that was let cook even more. Now, I am not gonna be talking about Captain Levi in this video. He probably will be in the next iteration if this one hits 10,000 likes. I wanted to talk about Erwin from Attack on Titan. And I could just hear the audible gasp from the stands. What? Erwin may be a top-tier chef, but are you really comparing Erwin's cooking abilities to the absolute saute master Zeke Yeager? To the rotisserie king Levi? And to that I say yes, and now I will tell you exactly why. You see, when there's this epic battle, okay, everyone's immediately saying, well, we gotta look out for Levi. Levi is the only threat to the Beast Titan, per se. Beast Titan's like, bro, I'm standing here a million miles away. I'm a goddamn sharpshooter. I have these boulders, and I can just hurl them at these ants in front of me. They'll all get obliterated. These people stand no chance. And everyone's like, dude, I know what you're thinking. You're a Titan, you're strong, you're epic, you regenerate and all that. There's this dude, Captain Levi, you have to look out for. And he's like, bro, Captain Levi, please, I'll squash that little bug. I'll turn that dude into paste, dog. However, Zeke is an intelligent person, and he does not let Levi cook. He spends the entire fight making sure that Levi cannot cook. He cannot let Levi cook. Whenever Levi had the opportunity to turn the fire on, immediately cut off. That was the modus operandi of the Beast Titan, that entire battle. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning Erwin specifically is because Erwin physically is not a threat to the Beast Titan. This dude may be a pretty decent fighter, but he is not anywhere near the tier of someone that the Beast Titan needs to actually be scared of. The Beast Titan spent so long making sure Levi cannot cook, he forgot something even better. He forgot something even more important. Levi might be the one operating the grill. He might be the waiter here. He might be serving the dishes to delighted customers all day long. But he forgot something really important. He forgot that Erwin is the chef. When all hope is lost, Erwin manages to display a speech so charismatic and courageous, not only putting his life on the line, but heading into certain death, where he commands this entire legion of fighters to charge forward at the Beast Titan into certain death. The Beast Titan will just throw rocks at them and annihilate them. It's like sending infantry single file heading straight towards a Gatling gun. Their demise was certain and their fate was sealed. However, because of the absolute charisma and heart that this man has, because of the dedication that he has shown, he is able to get every single person following him to dedicate their heart, life, and soul into this final charge. What looks like a desperate charge. What looks like something that doesn't stand a chance, because they're right, it's not something that could stand a chance. Erwin manages to lead this charge. Erwin personally is not perceived as a threat, and because of this, he was given ample time to cook. The dish that he served wasn't one of particular fragrance and wasn't one of particular punch. It, however, was a dish that left everyone craving more. The entire Scout Legion proceeds to charge at the Beast Titan, literally to their absolute demise, their hearts and souls and very lives on the line, with Erwin leading the charge to his own death, because he knew that this would give Levi the opportunity to fight the Beast Titan in one-on-one combat, and that's exactly what happened. Levi was able to close the gap, make the distance, and defeat the Beast Titan in one-on-one combat. In one of, in my opinion, the greatest fights in all of anime. And a lot of people attribute the epicness of that battle to Levi, and they should. Levi was an absolute star. But not because he was a chef, because he was the goddamn greatest busboy on the face of the planet. The Beast Titan had the strategy correct in mind at the very beginning. Must not let Levi be able to cook, because if Levi can close the distance between them, he's toast. What he didn't understand and what he underestimated was the dedication in Erwin's heart, and how letting him in the kitchen would meet him with that very same demise. Next, chef! In JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 2, we have, in my opinion, the most hilarious main character ever. Okay? You will not find a man as amazing as Joseph Joestar. Every time I see the scene of him playing dead behind Wamu, and Wamu turns around and he just crawls a little further, and Wamu turns back to see he's a little further, but no, it must be his imagination. And then he crawls a little bit further until eventually he realizes that the dude's alive. Bro, Wamu, do not let this man cook. I know he's a human. I know you're a pillar man. You're basically immortal. You're goddamn terrifying. But for God's sake, do not let the man cook. He did let the man cook, and he died because of it. Joseph Joestar is the easiest to underestimate out of any of the characters I've mentioned so far. Vegeta underestimating Cell, that's one thing, because he's really strong, and Cell's really strong, and he knew that there was a potential of losing. He just needed to do that to prove to himself, yeah, it's cringe, but who cares? Eisen underestimating Ichigo wasn't really him underestimating Ichigo as much as he was overestimating himself. He knew he was going up against someone of relative prowess, someone that's actually gonna pose some sort of threat and fight. And I could keep going, and the list goes on. Now, here's the thing. Joseph Joestar is so beneath a pillar man that this level of underestimation didn't even seem like it would pose any form of threat. Now, I could mention the Wamu stuff as much as I want, because this man did some good ass cooking. But I feel like a much better example of when he adorned his chef's hat was up against Ultimate Cars. Now, let me tell you something about this dude. Ultimate Perfect Cars is this fellow that managed to obtain some crazy power of the sun. He was not only immortal, but he reached the highest peak of every possible physical creature in the universe. He can turn himself into the strongest version of anything in existence. He could turn his hand into a squirrel just to flex on your opponent. With the strength of the strongest beast and the speed of the fastest bird, this man had everything. He was perfect. And as the narrator even says, he even looked like a Greek god. Now tell me, if you were an immortal, regenerating being of limitless power that has zero weaknesses, because you absorb the power of the sun and the power of the night, would you be afraid of a human whose entire ability is basically, sun powers, when you're immune to them now? Bro, this man had nothing. He's just a regular guy. So Karst decides, well, I'm gonna wipe this guy out. He posed enough of an annoyance until this point. I'm a perfect being and I have nothing to worry about. And he did not really take the fight seriously. The fight gets so wild, it involves Joseph getting into a stolen Nazi plane and flying it into a volcano. But that doesn't work on Karst either. Like, the amount and extreme nutcasery that went on in this final battle was glorious. And Karst was not even trying. He was just like, bro, you stand no chance. I can literally chase you to the ends of the earth. I can fly as fast as a fighter plane. Waste all the time you need. There is not a force in this world that could beat me because I am the culmination of the perfection of everything in this world. So he goes ahead and he makes a dreadful error. A dreadful error. It's true, Joseph Joestar had no idea how he was going to defeat Karst. But still, perfect being or not, you do not let a chef of this man's caliber to stay in the kitchen for as long as you did. Now, Joseph Joestar did not know how he was going to beat Karst, but he was cooking at a mad rate. Everything he did was potentially to get Karst in a position that he might be able to find out some way to beat Karst. Now, he didn't come up with an amazing strategy. He did, however, continuously position himself in statistical situations where he might find some sort of strategy at some point. Even in the final eventual defeat of Karst, he did not figure out a strategy and it was basically luck. True, it was luck, but it was luck that was handcrafted to fit this scenario. He wouldn't have been lucky if he wouldn't have gotten them to where they were at that moment. It's something that I like to tell a lot of people when they ask me about making videos on YouTube and stuff, or streaming and like blowing up and making content and going viral and all that stuff. On the one hand, yes, it's luck if your content goes viral. On the other hand, you have to put yourself in as many statistically likely positions for you to get lucky. Reach out to the right people, make the right kind of videos, etc., etc. Everything in life falls down to some sort of luck, but it's on you to put yourself in the position to get lucky. And that is what Joseph did. Karst let Joseph cook. Joseph didn't know the recipe, bro. All Joseph had was a lot of ingredients that didn't seem like they would amount to something. But Joseph did not stop cooking even for a half a second, not even to take a breath. This man cooked so many half-ass dishes that eventually, by just accidentally nudging some ingredients together, he created a masterpiece. He ended up getting Karst on a rock, on a volcano. The volcano erupted because of something Joseph did, mind you, causing the rock under Karst to skyrocket upwards and launch Karst into the stratosphere. Where Karst said was like, was this part of your plan all along? And Joseph is like, of course it was my plan all along. It wasn't his plan all along. Joseph didn't know what he was cooking, but Karst let him cook. And the stars aligned. The flames were just the right temperature, and goddamn, the meat was so tender when it slapped Karst across the face into the stratosphere. No matter what life form you are, no matter how perfect of an immortal being you are, you will float in space as a frozen rock for all eternity. Your brain will keep working because you're immortal and you're constantly regenerating, but there's no living creature that can survive in space. So even as the peak living creature, you are in conditions where you will unfortunately be floating around, mindlessly just thinking about Joseph for eternity. You will spend the rest infinite years until the heat death of the universe, and maybe even beyond that, regretting the fact that you dared let the human Joseph Joestar into the kitchen. I know I said I was gonna do 10, but I'm gonna have to tie the knot at 7, so one more for us. Subscribe, 10,000 likes, honest to God. I'll do another one of these. This is so much fun. The video is just turning out to be so long because I'm having so much fun writing this stuff. Next, chef. I want to talk about the absolute badass cookery of Shikamaru Nara from Naruto. So, enter the Akatsuki. They are these crazy group of ninja people. They're all these S-rank, terrifying ninjas. They're out here, they're killing people, they're collecting bounties. They end up gang-banging Asuma, and it is wild. They get into this fight. You got Asuma, Shikamaru, and I don't even want to talk about these guys. The basically filler characters from the Leaf Village that are always there carrying books, all right? Big surprise, they weren't able to beat 2 Akatsuki members, but they did try. Eventually, they do defeat Asuma, they kill him, and it is a very tragic moment. It is a moment that every Naruto fan remembers from their childhood, clutching a body pillow and crying. And if you didn't have a body pillow, well then congratulations, you are a slightly more functional member of society than the rest of us. Anyway, Asuma's the only one that had a bounty on his head, so after they defeat him, they leave Shikamaru and the 2 filler guys to go, because they don't need them, they don't have bounties, they don't really care about them. This wasn't like a personal fight. It's not like some kind of vendetta situation going on. Big foreshadowing! Anyway, Shikamaru now has a vendetta. He really does not like these Akatsuki guys for obvious reasons, so he decides to pair up with his old team. It's him, Choji, and Ino. Both Choji and Ino do nothing for the entire fight. I'm just mentioning them because they were kind of there too. All right, they've been relegated to the position of official Leaf Village book carriers for basically this entire fight, and Kakashi, who's a mad lad. And they're going up against Hidan and Kakuzu. Now, Hidan is the one that actually delivered the final blow. He's the one that actually killed Asuma. Now, let me tell you something interesting about Hidan in the Naruto world. The guy's immortal. Yeah, I know you had Orochimaru. He's this character that's trying to become immortal for like the entirety of the story. This man is out there sucking kids' bodies juices. Wow, that sounded horrible. We're leaving it in the video. And even that dude can't become immortal. Introducing Hidan, this dude that's just freaking immortal. Why? I don't know. He prays to his god Jashin, and apparently that works somehow. I don't know. It wasn't really explained, but it works, and the dude's immortal. Not only is he immortal, but if he gets a taste of your blood, and this dude stabs himself, all the pain and suffering that he goes through, the guy that he took their blood goes through too. Now, here's the problem. This guy's not immortal. So he can drink his blood, stab himself through the heart. He's immortal, so he'll just get up fine. But the other dude just gets stabbed through the heart and is dead. Yeah, it's very bad. Very, very bad. So Shikamaru, this dude who doesn't have a bounty on his head, he's a relatively novice fellow. No one has any idea that this dude shouldn't be allowed in the kitchen. They thought he was a regular ninja. They didn't think he was an absolute 200 IQ Rick and Morty watching motherfucker. So when they get into this entire battle, this massive fight, at some point, Kakashi is up against Kakuzu in this one-on-one. Shikamaru finally manages to grab Hidan with his Shadow Possession Jutsu and run him into some forest. Eventually, unfortunately, the Shadow Possession Jutsu runs out. He's not strong enough. And Hidan, finally free, says, "Well, kid, you made a mistake here. You're letting me cook now." But little did Hidan know. Oh, little did he know. He thought he was being allowed to finally cook, being free from the Shadow Possession Jutsu. But oh, get ready for the biggest Uno reverse card of your life, because Shikamaru just cooked a 7-course meal with all sorts of different appetizers and desserts. This man was literally cooking since their last encounter. I feel like the reason why he had Choji join this entire fight wasn't so Choji could actually do something. He didn't actually contribute to the fight at all, but he needed someone to eat all the food he was cooking. Hidan takes his blade. He swipes at Shikamaru. He gets some blood on the blade. He's like, "Bro, you are so dead." He licks the blood. He's about to stab himself. And he says, "Any last words, Shikamaru?" And Shikamaru's like, oh God, what do I do?" And as he stabs himself, Shikamaru smirks to himself. And in the most epic internal monologue that didn't happen but should have happened of all time, Shikamaru said, "Enjoy the fruits of my cooking, bitch." He stabs himself, and Shikamaru's fine. Meanwhile, in the desert, a mile away, Kakuzu starts coughing. That's right. The blood that Shikamaru administered to Hidan, that he put on Hidan's blade, was the blood of his partner Kakuzu. This man, this absolute legend, figured everything out perfectly. He knew Kakuzu was using Earth Style to defend himself, so that's why he had Kakashi use the Lightning Style to get close on him enough to get a blood sample. He knew that Hidan would eventually use this technique that he ingests the blood, stabs himself to kill his buddy. He knew that the bigger threat is Kakuzu, not even the immortal guy Hidan. So in order to get a jump on Kakuzu, not only is he beating Hidan now, because right after this he proceeds to blow Hidan to smithereens, like he leaves him in a bunch of body parts and absolutely buries him. He digs a pit in middle of a forest before the fight. Now that's cooking. Hidan let this man cook and it was his downfall. Bro, my dude Shikamaru freaking dug a pit in this forest long before the fight, knowing that he would eventually trap him. He'd run him into this forest over the pit where he'll eventually stab himself to kill Kakuzu. At least he hoped it would kill Kakuzu. And then he'll blow him up and bury him in the pit that he already dug. The amount of cooking this man did will be remembered throughout anime history. My dude out here was so prepared. He made a dish from every cuisine. Every national food on the planet was being served right here. My man got the ultimate double KO against 2 immortal enemies. And not because he's a better fighter, but because he's a damn good chef. And with that, I don't see any better way or place to wrap up this video. This video was one of the most fun I had to make in a long time. So subscribe and leave a like. 10,000 likes, and I will do another video with 10 or 7, depending on how long it goes, anime characters that should not have been allowed to cook. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Have yourself a most wonderful evening, and remember to stay weird, fam.